everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the 505 Sports Venture Program. Have a very special guest for today's show, but we won't get there until after the break. And as we approach the Lobo football season, it's a very important time for our organization. For those of you who are involved with University of New Mexico at all, you might have been at the event this weekend, the Cherry Silver event that's run by the Lobo Club under the able leadership of Jalen Dominguez. Well, this weekend they set the record for most money raised, over $1 million, to go to help our student athletes. A part of that, for the first time, came from what we know as the Lobo Alliance, which also works with our organization to make sure our student athletes have NIL opportunities. It's clear now in this new college landscape that NIL opportunities are vital, not only for recruiting, but more important for retention. So if you're a Lobo fan and you've watched our success on the basketball court recently, and you're about to see our success on the football field, you'll understand how important retention is and how important 505 SVF is to the structure at UNM Athletics. So we're asking you, check out the website, 505sports.org. Again, 505sports.org. Monthly subscriptions are as low as $25. You get all sorts of benefits, including a private tailgate this weekend if you join. So go back, 505sports.org. Stay with us. We're going to be right back. We're going to get into a little discussion pre-Lobo football. Thanks. We'll be right back.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready.
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom. Boom!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 505 Sports Venture Foundation program. Here we are on the cusp of Lobo football season, so we have a special guest in celebration of Lobo football. Of course, none other than the head basketball coach of UNM Lobos, Richard Pitino. How you doing?
Great. Makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, we have a basketball coach on right before the football season. It makes tons of sense. But first, we should talk a little bit of football. New York Football Giants fan?
Love them. As you know, grew up friends with the Mara family. Talked a little bit about it, but I remember I was friends. Danny Mara is one of the older brothers, but Tricia Mara, who's Rooney Mara, the actress, and Kate Mara, the actress, we were all friends, and I was like used to make fun of them all the time for this little acting deal that they did, and now they're in Hollywood, and they're killing it. So they had the last laugh.
Yeah, for those of you from New Mexico who don't know, the Mara family have owned the Giants since the inception over 100 years ago, I think, or late in the 20s. And the father who started the team was a local bookmaker, and so he invested in this new NFL thing. And the reality is, for all you Dallas fans and Denver fans, is if it wasn't for the Mara family who agreed in the 60s to share the money, to share the TV money, the NFL wouldn't be what it was. The Giants still would have the greatest TV market. Unlike the Yankees, who keep all the money, the Giants agreed to share. You got Green Bay in the league. You've got Houston, which was a smaller city when they came in. And so the Mara families basically created the NFL out of their generosity and their good fellowship to the other owners. Last question about football. Can the Giants win with this quarterback?
Well, what's amazing about sports is there's no one tried and true formula. You cannot win in football if you don't have a quarterback. You can win in basketball if you don't have a point guard or a center. It's not ideal. We'll see. This is the year where I think they're going to have to decide with Daniel Jones. Had the injury, obviously. We'll see. It's not their only problem. Let's put it like that. That's what I would say.
That's true. But we did see, I turned on, I didn't watch the game, got a highlight. First play I see.
Yeah, not great.
He fades back in the end zone, throws a full crosses body to the sideline. It was literally a 4-yard pick six. So it was not exciting.
I'm excited about Malik Neighbors. That helps. Obviously, you got a great target there. I love it. Like, I try to clear out my schedule on Sundays so that I can sit down. It's almost like therapeutic. Well, not the way they've been the last couple of years, more angry. But I love watching. I watch every game.
Well, I do also. The Sunday ticket's a cool thing. But the fact of the matter is, not last year. The year before, they won a playoff game, actually. But that was the first time in 3 years, any time during the season, they had a winning record.
Yep.
They had gone 3 straight years under 500. So Giant fans, by October, were like going to play golf.
No doubt.
So this year we hope for there. All right. So now school's just started. Basketball season is on, in essence, because you're working out. Full team workouts. Everyone's back. So let's start there. Everyone's back? No visa problems, no immigration, no health, all academically good?
Everybody's good, yeah. I mean, I guess the only thing now is we got to find a new AD, right? I mean, normally there's always an issue in the off season. Knock on wood, we didn't really have any. We had 8 weeks of summer school, which was good. I mean, it's changed so much. We did a lot of skill work. We did some 5-on-5 for sure. I try to ease into it to where they're playing their best basketball right before the season. We had a first practice yesterday. We go 4 times a week, 1 hour. Sometimes it's just skill work. Sometimes it's installing some things. Season's really long. It's really, really long. So you're trying to develop a culture. We know now with 1 million transfers, you got to do that. So you take advantage of it, but you also know like 2.5 months of practice here building up.
Wow. Well, we were talking about that off camera, how you've already had from June, literally the freshmen and the transfers showed up basically June 1 for the first summer school session. And then there are 2, June and July. So right at the end of July, everybody took off.
Yeah.
They did get a good break. I was at practice a few minutes yesterday. Team looked really healthy, energetic, good to be back. But that's got to be these rules where you can practice almost 2 months in the summer and come back, and you've got, like you said, 2.5 months before the first game, before the exhibition game.
Yeah.
Part of this whole coaching job is just keeping that on an even keel.
Yeah, and that's the hard part for sure, especially at a place like here that likes basketball year-round. They want to talk about it. And, I get texts all the time. Are you doing a press conference? Are you having an open practice? I'm like, guys, it's June. Like, relax. Like, we'll revisit that in October. But coaches fought for more time with them over the summer. You know, we used to have limitations. So I don't think it's a bad thing. It is just long. I was happy we were able to figure out this 3-week break, get everybody away. You know, you used to worry about your kids working out. They work out a lot. You know, they have trainers at home. They're in the gym. I think they like being here because they have access to the gym. It's right there. It's a little long for the coaches at times. But at the end of the day, like, you just got to have the right mentality when you're with them, or else you could really burn everybody out.
Right. So that's a real balancing act. I mean, people all want to think coaching is you recruit and then you make an adjustment at halftime, and that's your job. The reality is you are the manager of what is kind of like a small army. Yeah. And you've got the assistants, you've got staff, you've got issues, scheduling issues, which we'll talk about in a little bit, travel issues, and then, of course, transfer portal. So it's a real business thing these days. All right, well, we've got a lot more to talk about. We're coming up on our first break. So hang out with us. This is the preseason, pre-opening day football issue with basketball coach Richard Pitino. Stay right with us. We'll be back.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain.
Who's that?
That's your new buddy in jail.
If you're drunk,
Blasted,
intoxicated,
ripped,
plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. We're at our pre-kickoff football edition, of course, with head basketball coach Richard Pitino. All right, so now we're back. I was actually asked today about buying individual game tickets, and I replied, well, you can't buy tickets because the schedule's not out. But one of the things that is interesting as a longtime college basketball fan is with the 20-game schedule, we're going to see a little different setup than we've ever seen, which means sometimes there's games in the what we used to call the pre-conference schedule. What's
yeah,
that
you're going to see a game early December, and you're going to see a game right after Christmas. So from a coaching perspective, that makes it more challenging to schedule because you got a Mountain West game. Those are the most important games, so you got to figure out what's before that and what's after that. And then Christmas, we normally give a pretty good break to guys to go home, where we're not going to be. We'll be able to do it before, but we'll be practicing on Christmas. We'll be practicing Christmas Eve, which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying anybody needs to feel sorry for us, but it was always a great time to get the players away and give them a break. So we'll have to figure that out moving forward.
Okay, well, then talking about schedule, the other day I was perusing, I don't know, Colorado State's preseason, Fresno State's. You guys have an incredibly difficult preseason schedule.
Yeah, I think I made this comment. I think it's the hardest non-conference in the history of Lobo basketball. Now that's me saying that without really looking at it, but you've got St. John's will be picked to make the NCAA tournament. UCLA will be picked to make the NCAA tournament. Arizona State, St. Mary's also be picked. VCU, you've got 5 teams that are going to be picked to be in the NCAA tournament to potentially win their conference. So, why did I do it? A couple reasons. I think that the program should grow as the schedule grows, as the commitment, speaking of yourself, grows. And I feel like our fans deserve that. You want to put yourself in a position to make NCAA tournaments every year. You never want your schedule to prevent you from doing that. I did a little bit of it before JT Toppin entered the portal. I didn't know. So that's the next step is you got to figure out maybe what you have before you do all that. But it doesn't hurt you. It really doesn't. Even if you lose, the key is to have as many good quality games on your schedule as possible to give yourself as many good opportunities.
Well, I've been following Lobo basketball since 1973. There's not a pre-conference schedule that ever comes close to this. We went to Wake Forest when they were number 2 and Chris Paul. We played UCLA and Pauley, but these 5 games against all teams that expect to make the tournament.
Well, and I think everything's evolving and changing. The landscape is changing, and I think me and you have talked about it a lot. Lobo basketball specifically should be a top 25 basketball job, in my opinion. The only thing that we've got to get is just the resources, the finances, all those things caught up, right? Certainly we know about football and the big picture and all that. I understand that. But we have a fan base that averaged over 14,000 a game in conference last year. So at some point we got to go for it. I think San Diego State has done it. Absolutely. They deserve that credit. We're not there yet. We have a rabid fan base. Now let's see if we can build that national schedule every year to go along with winning games.
Okay, we're going to take a little detour here because you did mention it before, and it's the gorilla in the room. You don't have a boss today. AD job is open. In my mind, it may be the most important hire that's ever happened in UNM sports because the way the whole deal's changed. What do you think?
I think that's the biggest thing is you got realignment happening everywhere. You've got Albuquerque, that is a city of almost 1 million people who love the Lobos. We want to have a seat at that table whenever the next realignment happens. So whoever does have that, are we going to be sitting to at least have a spot at the table potentially? We got work to do. We've got a fan base that really cares. We've got unlimited opportunities financially that could invest in all of what we're doing. So I think whoever the new AD is that comes in there has got to understand that. You've got to embrace NIL. You can't fight it. Whether you think it's right or wrong, it's irrelevant what you think. This is what's going to help us be successful in men's basketball and football and then all the other sports as well. You see what has happened over the last 2 years since we've had success, whether it's year 2 going to the NIT, year 3 going to the NCAA tournament. The city is alive. It helps revenue. You get football going in the fall. I think I've said this about you, like what you're trying to do. I think it can reshape Albuquerque and it can reshape the state of New Mexico.
Well, we had lofty goals. I wanted to reshape student life. I wanted to reshape the student section. It's back. The next thing is college athletics and successful programs tend to draw in students from outside the state. They want to be part of celebrations. They want to sit behind the bench and hang out with Snake. All that stuff works, and so far we've seen it happen. So just before we take our final break, we see that somebody with your last name is very interested in recommending an AD to the University of New Mexico.
Yeah, you guys all obsess over what my dad tweets a lot more than I do. So I don't, to me it's, when we got to Louisville, when he first got the job at Louisville 20-something years ago, Louisville was in Conference USA. Louisville went from, and I'm not endorsing Tom George, just on point, but I think we have the same opportunity here to where this thing can really grow. Their facilities were not great. Obviously, we have the pit, but football can improve, and all those little things can improve. We just need somebody, whoever it is, and I don't know. We don't need to consult my dad on that. We don't need to pay him to consult, but whoever it is to see this vision of you have a state that loves the Lobos. We can do big things.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a break, sell some product. We'll be right back. We're going to talk a little bit more about that financial stuff, and then we'll get to some baskets. Hang with us.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Everybody, welcome back to our third and final segment of today's 505 SVF show. We had just left, Coach, you were talking about Louisville and how it came from CUSA to national championships to the ACC, the whole deal. I want to just say to Lobo fans, I don't want to scare people, but the reality is this. In the Mountain West, San Diego State, Colorado State, Boise State, Fresno State, they all are in better financial situations than we are. And if there's a realignment, and I'm thinking Oregon State and Washington State, where are we in that? This is our chance to jump into that discussion. I don't want to be in the CUSA. I don't want to see us in the Big Sky Conference. And just imagine Washington State, Oregon State, Pac-12, one day they went to work and they didn't have a league. I don't want to see that happen here. So again, help us out, 505sports.org. Okay, so part of the whole process, you've got the transfer portal, which has made high school recruiting sort of not as important in certain venues. But now we're talking about having more scholarships and maybe high school recruiting is back. Or what do you think of that whole thing?
Well, it's still very fluid. You're going to get 15 scholarships instead of 13, but you don't need to use them as full scholarships. I've always been a big believer, and I do this as a staff. I keep one of the smaller staffs in the country because I want to pay my key guys more, and I want them to feel more valuable. Look at what happened with the Olympics. Jason Tatum's the odd man out, and all they want to talk about is how he didn't play versus that they just won a gold medal. So for me, I want to be able to keep our best players here. I want to recruit at a high level. I think we're doing that, and we got to continue to do it. So Is that transfers? Is that high school kids? I don't know. Like, when we took JT Top and we really liked him, did I think we were going to get Mountain West Freshman of the Year? I didn't know. But now you don't get anything by taking a high school kid. Like, you don't get them for more years than a transfer. Right. So I always envision, regardless of what year they are, can they help us right away? And it's just the reality of it all. So you've got the fall, I would say, is not as important as the spring anymore. The spring, there's a little bit more clarity, especially when the portal closes, of what you have and what you need. A little bit more uncertainty in the fall. But we're going to always try to get a blend. I'd like to sign 2 in the fall and then 13 in who knows in the spring.
Hopefully not 13.
Yeah.
So we have some recruits coming in this weekend. We'll be at the football game. Get out to the stadium, watch the game. The Lobos will win this weekend. But has the recruiting, has the contact, the interest of the kids ticked up as a result of the success you've had?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's all connected. When you can show them graphics of a sold-out pit, when you can show them a video of Vegas when we're cutting down the nets, when you can show them the value, because now we can pay, you can pay players of when you came here versus even if you left, how much your value increased when you came into our program. All that stuff matters. It's no different than and I don't consider us a mid-major, but a coach who takes a job that he knows he can win at to go on to the next one. It's the same thing with here. Like I always tell them all the time, you come to us, we will increase your value. And it's a high-level experience. I mean, they live right. They're treated great. They're treated like celebrities in the community. The Mountain West obviously is a great conference. Like you said, we're going to bring them in on football weekends. It helps all of us if University Stadium is packed.
Yeah, so if you guys see the recruits, say hi this weekend. I know you're all getting out to the game. All right, everyone wants to know a little bit about expectations. Got a bunch of new guys, all high-quality kids as far as I spent a lot of time around the team in June and July. What do you really have to work at? You lost the backcourt, House and Mash, kind of like the foundation. They got us where we were.
And you're ignoring, and I forget it too, because you had these spark plug backcourt. JT Toppin was freshman of the year and an all-conference player. We lost him too.
Yeah.
And I always forget it because you always want to talk about House and Mash. But we lost 3 starters. I don't know. I mean, I want us to be in the hunt. I want us to be in the fight. I want us to be, showing progress every single year. Do I think we'll win more than 26 games? I don't know. You know what I mean? But I like what we're doing. I think the character is really good. I think the culture is strong. I can't equate it to wins and losses, but what you want to do by year 4, and it's changed because of transfers, but I want people to say when we play New Mexico, we get that. And I think we've established we're going to play fast and we're going to be disruptive and all those things. And I think we're doing that, to be in postseason back-to-back years. We always talk about football, bowl eligible. Well, that's bowl eligible, being in the NIT and then the NCAA tournament. And so to have 2 good years, can we build off it? I think we can. Really tough schedule. Our passionate fans don't need to freak out early if we lose a couple. We'll be better in the end because of it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, and a really, really deep roster. Probably as much depth. Not probably more depth than any roster I've seen. I don't know if the top end is as good as others, but the depth is there. And the one thing that strikes me, the difference is the size. All of a sudden, instead of small guards, you've got a transfer from Arizona, 6'8". And he's a 6'8" kid.
Yeah.
So that's
I told the team yesterday during practice, I said you have to self-scout after every year. You have to evaluate yourself. What do you need to get better at? And I remember going into the Clemson game in the NCAA tournament, looking and going, I've got Jalen House on a 6'8" kid. I've got to fix this. And if you look at our roster now, we are certainly taller, bigger, and all those things. Does it mean we're going to be better? I don't know. But we addressed that. We do have a lot of depth, but I told them this yesterday. We have 16 players. 6 of you are probably not going to play.
Yeah.
Reality of it.
Wow.
Depending on injuries and foul trouble, blowouts one way or the other. So depth is important, but you never know how important it really is.
All right, well, listen, thanks for coming on. A lot to look forward to. We'll try to bribe you to come back when the actual season starts.
Happy to.
Everybody, get out to the football game on Saturday. We're going to have recruits. You'll see Coach. We'll see the Lobo football team win. And it's important that you're involved. So check us out. 505sports.org. That's 505sports.org. Join in. We've got great momentum. Anyway, we'll see you next week after the first Lobo football win. Thanks for staying with us.